Hello everyone, this is Andre Dyson with Studio 270 Digital Media Lab. And right now I'm going to walk you through the USB flash drive formatting for Windows and Mac. Just to not get it confused, I will be formatting the drive through the Mac computer, but the flash drive itself will be formatted for Windows and Mac. So that means you can save a file on a Mac computer, and then properly eject, and then you can put that same drive onto a PC computer, save your files, and properly eject. So it's not that I'll be showing you how to format hard drives or flash drives on a Mac and a PC computer. I'm just going to be working on the Mac computer. So it looks a little bit different. The same concept, but it looks a little bit different coming from a Windows computer. But I am on a Mac, iMac, and I'm just going to walk you through the steps. Right now, the first step would be to connect your flash drive. I have a Gab Warden flash drive that we've had lying around. What a format does, basically, it erases the hard drive. So if you have information or files on a hard drive already, you want to back that up. So what I did was, as you go into the file, that's what the file is, or the hard drive, I had all these files, and I created another folder, basically, and I can delete that because this was the folder I created. So I titled it, right, and as I opened this folder, I highlighted these from the hard drive and drug them over to the file I created. So now the same files that are on this hard drive are on this desktop in another folder. This is a different folder, but this is the subsequent folder I created by right-clicking on. It's how you right-click on the desktop to get this section on the Mac, is to create a new folder. So if you click folder, see how a folder pops up. I don't need it, so I'm going to right-click again and move the trash. But that's how I created this folder right here. So whatever you have on the drive, formatting your drive to be able to access different platforms, it's going to erase what is ever on that drive. So be sure to create a folder and have space on your computer, because that's the second thing. If you don't have iMac space, what they have on these, and there's a way to check how much space there is. If you go to About This Mac, it shows you the information about whatever computer you're on, and it shows you what type of computer, what model, processor, memory, and all of that. And system report, storage. If you go to storage up here up top, it shows you the used space on the main drive, and it actually shows you the used space on this drive, the external drive I have plugged in. So you can see it's almost full, and there's only basically a gig of space on that hard drive, the external that I have, and this is the main computer space that they have. So if I hover over what's used, there's over almost a terabyte and a half that's used, and as you can see, it's calculating what files, what percentage of that used space is what. So apps, 29.6 gigs, music creation, 50.94 gigs. It's going to be doing that calculating as you use it up. But yeah, as you see, that just popped up. Other users account for 877 gigs. But overall, this computer can hold 3.12 terabytes, which is a lot of space. And as you know, computers are different. Not all computers hold the same amount of space. So you just want to be sure of how much space you have on your computer at all times. And if you do need to clean out and manage some of your apps, manage some of your files, file management is very important. So that's something to think about. Because as you can see, when you go into manage, it shows you all of the apps, how much space they take up, what you might need or not need. So you can see recommendations on where to store how to empty trash and reduce the clutter, sort through documents and other content stored in Mac, and delete what is no longer needed. So these are very important tools when you're a computer owner, because if your page, I've seen page or desktops that are filled with files, and understand that a desktop space is taking computer power, processing power away from your other apps and operations when there's a whole bunch of information that it has to remember on this space. So even if you do have a lot of files that you need to keep quick and accessible, the best thing to do is create a folder, and you can call that folder desktop, and then all the files that would just be laying around your desktop could be put in that folder. So let's just title it. So for instance, this is an empty folder that I just created by right-clicking, created that folder. But say I want this folder in there, this folder in there. Now there's one folder, like obviously these are ejectable disks. This is an app. This is a Capital app that I'm recording on, so I can delete that later. But this is the hard drive that I'm trying to format. And now I have one folder with other files in it that I can then go. This is very important. So, reducing the clutter, being organized with file management. So aside from that, let's get into the formatting part. Let's get to it. This is the drive that I want to format. I've backed up those files, and here they are. So once I'm done with that, or I'm not going to do this one, but this is the folder with the files that I needed to back up. So once I'm done reformatting, I can throw those files back on this drive. But for the Finder window is where you basically need to find the disk utility app. So if you were to go search for this Mac and then disk utility will pop up. And it shows you the external drive that's connected. Whatever's connected as a drive to your computer will pop up. So now from there, I will select the drive I want to format, which we just did, which is the Gail Borden drive. Be very careful not to do anything to these two, because these are your main drives. This is the actual computer. Like, you can do that only if you were going to be reformatting your entire computer, and that's not what most people are trying to do, because you have other things saved on the computer. So be very careful. This is the internal drives that you do not want to erase unless a professional is doing it, or you totally know what you're doing. So right now we're going to go to external, Gail Borden, and select the drive that you want to format, and then click the erase button at the top. As you see, it says erasing Gail Borden will delete all data stored on it and cannot be undone. Provide a name and format and click erase to proceed. So what we're going to do is keep the same name, and actually what I want to do is I'll make it a little bit different. Oh, it doesn't let you. I'm going to name it something different. I'm going to name it that. Okay. So we're going to name it, and the format we want is exFAT. And basically the exFAT is the format that allows this drive to be accessed through the Windows platform and the OS X platform. So these other options, basically they're telling you Mac OS X Extended are kind of Mac exclusive, and these are Windows NT, Windows NT compressed. Those are Windows exclusive, but usually these two are kind of in the middle. But this is an external drive, and we want to be accessed through Windows as well as Mac. So exFAT is what we'll use. And there's also security options you can do, where these options specify how to erase the selected disk or volume to prevent disk recovery applications from recovering it. We just want the fastest. It's not anything that has top secret information on it. We're just going to click the fastest. So we'll click erase, and it's unmounting the disk, and it's doing its thing. And you can click show details, and it'll tell you what it's doing. So I kind of speed through this part. And now it's done. And it can show you what it did from unmounting, erasing. It changed the name to Studio 270. And then there's all the technical information that the computer is doing to it. And we'll click done. And now, as you can see, the external drive is called Studio 270, and now there is basically nothing on it. So now there's over a gig, or slightly over a gig of space, and I think there's going to always be some minor information that is always on a drive. There's rarely zero amount of information, and I'm sure there's something to that as far as excess data that the device itself needs to have, and it doesn't erase because it needs to recognize itself as a device, or maybe the naming of the device. So there's always information there technically, but basically now this device is free. As you can see, I clicked it up, and now we're going to go into the information that was actually on it, and that's why you wanted to back that up. And I'll put it back on that drive. And as you can see, it's loading up, copying the items. And it's up to you whether you wanted to keep that copy of it, this copy of the drive on your desktop, or you can erase that and move to trash just to save space. But now all your files should be accessible and available for you. Hopefully this helps, and like I said, we will probably eventually do another one through a Windows computer so you guys can see what that looks like, and we'll format a drive both for Windows and Mac through a Windows computer. But right now this is just a MacBook, so thank you again, take care, and stay tuned for more videos from Studio 270 Digital Media Lab. Thanks.